Welcome back to Investing Talk Podcast.
Good to be back.
We've got a pretty critical earnings report squarely on our radar today. We're taking a close look at ChargePoint Holdings and its upcoming earnings.
Yeah, definitely one to watch in the EV space.
Our mission here is really to unearth the most important nuggets of info from, the latest analyses, historical data, market signals, the works. We want to give you a clear picture of what's actually happened.
Exactly. Cut through the noise.
Our goal is to give you the inside track so you understand the context, the potential moves, and, well, what analysts are really saying. So you can feel truly well-informed without getting totally buried in data.
Context is key.
And before we really jump in, if you find value in what we do here, please think about subscribing, liking, maybe leaving a comment. Your support genuinely helps us bring more of this content to you.
Absolutely. And yeah, if there's a specific company you'd like us to look into next time, just drop it in the comments below.
All right, let's cut right to it then. We're talking about ChargePoint Holdings, a key player, obviously, in the EV charging infrastructure space.
Increasingly vital, yeah.
Their next earnings report is right around the corner, which, makes this a really timely discussion. So first things first, when exactly are we expecting ChargePoint to drop its latest report?
Okay, so the immediate focus, is the timing. ChargePoint Holdings is set to report its earnings on September 3rd, 2025. That's after the market closes.
After market close. Got it. And the call.
And for those of you who like to dial in, the investor conference call is scheduled for 4:30 p.m. Eastern Time that same day.
Okay, that's the when. Let's talk about the what's. What are the financial expectations swirling around for this quarter? Specifically, what are analysts projecting for revenue and, maybe more importantly, for earnings per share? Because I'm seeing some pretty different numbers out there.
Yeah, that begs the question, and it's a critical one because there's a noticeable spread in expectations, especially on the profitability side.
Right.
For revenue, the consensus range is actually quite tight, largely mirroring the company's own guidance, somewhere between $90 million and $100 million.
Okay, so that seems straightforward enough.
But on the EPS front, the projections are way wider. I mean, you've got some analysts like Zacks and Public.com indicating a loss around -6 cents per share.
Minus a 6 cents, okay.
But then others like MarketBeat and Nasdaq, they show a much deeper consensus loss. We're talking -$2.01.
Whoa, wait. -6 cents versus -$2.01.
Exactly. This wide range itself just screams market uncertainty, doesn't it? It's like analysts are looking at two completely different situations.
That's a massive difference. I mean, that's not just a slight variation. It suggests they're using fundamentally different models or assumptions, right? What could possibly lead to such a chasm?
It's a really interesting point, and it kind of points to the complexity of the business, The discrepancy likely stems from different ways of accounting for things like the timing of charging station rollouts, maybe the mix between hardware versus software revenue, and importantly, the pace at which the company can actually control its operating expenses.
Okay, so differing views on execution and costs, basically. Did the company itself give any clearer guidance that might help narrow that EPS gap?
Well, ChargePoint had previously guided for Q2 revenue in that $90 million to $100 million range we mentioned.
Right.
And crucially, they also reiterated their longer-term goal, aiming to reach positive adjusted EBITDA during at least one quarter in fiscal 2026.
Adjusted EBITDA, right. The key metric for cash flow before the non-cash stuff.
Exactly. It gives a clearer picture of core operational profitability, which is super critical for a growth company burning cash. But they didn't issue any explicit EPS guidance for this specific quarter. That leaves the door wide open for this analyst disagreement.
Okay, so no direct EPS guidance from the company. Understanding where a company is going often means looking back a bit. What does ChargePoint's historical earnings performance look like, particularly over the last year or so? Any trends there?
Yeah, putting this into perspective, ChargePoint has a history of, frequent guidance misses, particularly on earnings. For instance, back in Q1 2026, that was the report in June 2025, they missed the consensus EPS by a full $1 per share. Actual EPS was -$2 against a -$1 estimate.
A full dollar miss. Wow.
Yeah. And revenue miss, too, came in at $97.64 million versus a $100.43 million estimate. We saw similar EPS misses in Q4 2025 and misses on both EPS and revenue back in Q2 2025.
So pattern then.
It's been bumpy. Q3 2025 was a bit mixed, some small beats, some moderate misses. It feels like the market has a very short memory for any good news, and, well, an elephant's memory for the misses. Quick to punish, slow to reward.
This sounds like a really challenging track record. So when these disappointments have hit, how has the market typically reacted? Does a miss always translate into a sharp sell-off?
Generally, yeah, a miss often leads to a pretty predictable response. The price often gaps down.
Gaps down, okay.
Meaning it opens significantly lower than where it closed the day before, leaving that gap on the chart. Negative surprises usually lead to quite pronounced sell-offs.
And on the flip side, if they meet or slightly beat.
Conversely, yeah, when results have narrowly met or maybe slightly beaten expectations, the price reactions have been much more muted. Or, any initial positive reaction tended to reverse pretty quickly in the next trading session.
So a real show-me stock right now.
Definitely seems that way. The market wants proof of consistent execution.
Beyond those headline numbers, revenue, EPS, are there any other vital signs we should be looking for, like underlying operational metrics that tell a deeper story about the company's health, even if the top line has been rough?
Yeah. And what's been genuinely interesting here is that while those headline numbers have struggled, there have been some positive internal movements, things you have to dig a bit for.
Okay, like what?
We've seen some gradual improvement in gross margin and also in subscription margin. That suggests maybe better cost management, or maybe they're getting more leverage from their recurring software revenue.
That's positive. Margins are key.
Absolutely. But revenue growth has undeniably slowed down. That's due to these broader sector headwinds we keep hearing about. The hope is it might stabilize with some of these new partnerships they're announcing.
Right.
But on the flip side, operating income is still negative. That reflects the continued investment and, frankly, the classic growing pains of a business trying to scale really quickly in a capital-intensive industry.
Okay, so some green shoots on margins, but it's still burning cash and facing slower growth. Now, every quarter has its own story. What significant news or maybe internal catalyst came out for ChargePoint this past quarter that could actually influence these results? Anything that might give them a boost?
Well, during the quarter, ChargePoint did make a couple of noteworthy announcements, things designed to be positive for growth, for sure. They unveiled a major partnership with Eaton. That's for integrated EV charging and power management solutions. It's a pretty significant strategic move, kind of connecting their charging network more deeply into the broader energy management ecosystem.
Eaton, okay. That sounds potentially significant. Anything else?
Yeah, they also launched a new AC charging architecture. It features innovations specifically for commercial, residential, and fleet markets. So trying to expand their reach and just improve their product offering across the board.
Those definitely sound like important strategic moves, at least on paper. But, we both know the EV sector as a whole has been facing some serious turbulence, hasn't it?
Indeed it has.
How quickly can these partnerships and new products genuinely impact the bottom line, especially given that history of misses? And what are those broader sector and macro trends hitting ChargePoint right now?
Right. It's a tough operating environment out there. The EV sector's been navigating big challenges. We've seen slower consumer adoption than maybe people initially hoped for.
Yeah, that seems to be a theme.
Definitely. Plus, tightening capital markets, which makes it harder for companies like this to raise funds if needed. And just generally increased competitive pressures, lots of players jumping in. Now, supply chain conditions have actually improved, which is good, but margins are still under pressure because of pretty aggressive pricing dynamics and, inventory levels across the whole industry.
And the macro picture. Interest rates.
Yeah, on a macro level, the higher interest rate environment isn't helping. And there's just this general risk-off sentiment from investors right now, which definitely tempers enthusiasm for unprofitable growth stocks, which ChargePoint currently is.
So a tough backdrop.
It really is. Makes you wonder if this is kind of the new normal for these kinds of growth companies for a while.
So, okay, you've got these internal catalysts, like the Eaton deal, which sound promising, but they're facing off against some pretty strong external headwinds. How are analysts viewing ChargePoint right now? Is it cautious optimism, or has skepticism taken over?
Analyst commentary gives, I'd say, a mixed but definitely cautious picture overall.
Mixed but cautious.
Okay. Some analysts suggest that the growth prospects coming from that new Eaton deal could genuinely help stabilize future guidance, maybe accelerate adoption, give them a bit of an edge.
Right.
But yeah, there's ongoing skepticism about near-term profitability, especially given the macro climate and, let's face it, their past performance track record. Price targets have generally been trimmed over the past couple of quarters.
So lowering expectations.
Pretty much. There's only cautious optimism for a turnaround, and that's if execution continues to improve. It really feels like a prove-it moment for the management team.
Makes sense. Okay, beyond the fundamentals and what the analysts are saying, the market itself often signals expectations, right? Through stock performance and options activity. How has ChargePoint's stock been doing leading up to this report?
Well, looking at the very recent market signals, the stock has shown a mild recovery in the last week or so. It was up about 4.1% going into August 22nd.
No bounce.
Yeah, it might reflect some, bottoming sentiment, maybe some short covering, but it's certainly not what you'd call a high conviction pre-earnings run-up. Not at all.
Okay, not a strong signal either way then.
Yeah.
And for listeners who follow the options market for clues, what are the calls and puts telling us? What's the sentiment there? And what about expected volatility?
Right. The options activity indicates, I'd say, balanced but slightly put-heavy positioning.
Put heavy. So more bets on the price going down or hedging?
Exactly. It means more investors are buying puts, those contracts that profit if the stock price falls. So it suggests either a prevailing bearish sentiment or just a strong demand for hedging against a potential drop post-earnings. There isn't any dramatic skew, though, that would signal an overwhelming consensus in one direction.
Okay, so some caution but not panic. What about volatility?
Now that's really interesting. The implied volatility is high. The options market is pricing in a substantial move somewhere in the range of plus or minus 13 to 16% for the earnings event itself.
Wow, 13 to 16%.
Yeah, that signals very high uncertainty and clear expectations for elevated volatility right after the report comes out. The market is bracing for a big swing.
Okay, so buckle up, basically. Given all this, the history, the news, the market signals, let's try to map out the possibilities. What's a potential best-case scenario investors should consider when these earnings drop? The bullish outcome.
Okay, let's sketch out the bull case. A genuinely positive scenario would involve ChargePoint not just meeting, but actually exceeding the high end of their revenue guidance, so coming in over $100 million.
Right. Beat on revenue.
And you'd want to see that EPS loss narrowing much more than expected. Clear progress on both gross margin and that subscription margin we talked about.
Margin improvement. Critical.
Absolutely. And a firm reaffirmation of that positive adjusted EBITDA guidance for fiscal 2026. Also, any surprise announcement of maybe further major partnerships or evidence of faster customer adoption through those Eden channels, that would definitely fuel a big positive reaction.
Okay, that's the sunny side. What about the opposite? The bearish scenario. What would signal real trouble for ChargePoint?
All right, the bearish case. That would likely see revenue coming in at, or maybe even below the low end of their guidance, so falling under $90 million.
Missing the low end, okay.
You'd expect the EPS miss to widen further, maybe significantly, no real improvement in losses, perhaps even things going backwards slightly on margins.
That would be bad.
Yeah. And any negative commentary about their cash runway, maybe signs of gross margin compression despite their efforts, or just weak guidance for the next quarter, all of that would indicate ongoing execution challenges. And it would almost certainly lead to a very negative market reaction. It would signal those headwinds are still just too strong.
Got it. So when the report finally drops, amidst all these numbers in the narrative, what's the one key metric you'd advise our listeners to really laser focus on, the single most important signal?
That's a critical point. If I had to pick one, the absolute key metric to watch is gross margin progress.
Gross margin.
Yes. Investors will be scrutinizing this intensely. They need to see if the company's margin initiatives and maybe these new products can actually start to effectively offset those sector headwinds we discussed. That, alongside any clear sign of moving towards positive adjusted EBITDA, that will be the ultimate validation of their strategy and execution right now.
So margin is where the rubber meets the road for credibility.
Pretty much. Without margin improvement, that path to profitability just looks much longer and more uncertain.
Okay. Well, that was a really thorough exploration of ChargePoint's upcoming earnings. So wrapping it all up, based on everything we've discussed, what's your overall sentiment or leaning? Are you leaning bullish, bearish, or kind of stuck in the middle?
My overall leaning right now is probably neutral to bearish. And if I had to put a confidence score on that, maybe a 4 out of 10.
Neutral to bearish, confidence 410. Okay, why?
The rationale is mainly that ChargePoint has repeatedly missed estimates in the past, and they continue to face these significant sector headwinds, things largely outside their immediate control, like consumer EV adoption rates and interest rates.
Right, the macro factors.
Exactly. Now, while the new initiatives like that Eaton partnership could spark improvement, and they are definitely positive signs, their historical performance, and the generally cautious analyst commentary just suggests that the risk feels skewed more to the downside right now. Unless there's a genuinely positive surprise in their future guidance and clear signals of margin expansion, the path forward still looks pretty challenging.
That's a practical, pretty grounded assessment. So for our listeners who are maybe thinking about their next move around this earnings report, what strategic considerations would you offer? Depending on their risk tolerance, of course.
Okay, yeah.
For, say, risk-averse investors, the prudent move might just be to avoid holding the stock through the earnings event itself. The recent volatility and that high risk of a negative surprise are pretty considerable.
Sit it out.
Could be wise for some. Now, for those who are more risk-tolerant, maybe looking to play the volatility itself, considering an option strategy like a straddle or a strangle could be something to look at. Explain those quickly.
Sure. A straddle is buying both a call and a put option at the same strike price and expiration. You're betting on a big price move, up or down, just significant volatility. A strangle is similar but uses different strike prices, usually out of the money, making it cheaper but requiring an even bigger move to profit. These could potentially capture that large swing the options market is pricing in, even if you don't know the direction.
Interesting. And for traders with a directional view.
Right. For directional traders, maybe a defensive positioning could make sense. Something like buying protected puts options that give you the right to sell your shares at a set price, limiting your downside. That is, unless you have really strong conviction in an execution turnaround, maybe driven by sector catalysts, or really believing in the impact of that Eaton partnership kicking in quickly.
So different strokes for different folks, depending on risk, appetite, and conviction.
Yeah.
So what does this all really mean for us watching this space? I mean, ultimately, while the EV revolution is clearly happening, the journey for individual companies like ChargePoint navigating this super dynamic market, it just remains incredibly complex, doesn't it? With profitability and consistent execution being the ultimate proving ground.
Exactly. It really makes you wonder, with so much innovation happening, so much investment flowing into EV infrastructure, when will we see that broad market sentiment finally shift? Shift away from just growth at any cost to a clear, undeniable demand for demonstrated sustainable profitability in this sector.
That is a really good question. Definitely something worth mulling over long after this earnings call ends.
For sure.